Okay, y'all, we've got a lot to get into today because the drama is really not slowing down. We're talking about GloRilla, Latto, Drake, and Soulja Boy all being pulled into a messy situation, and it didn't even come from fans this time. It actually came from inside the family. So apparently GloRilla's sister, who goes by BroRilla online, had a lot to say after hearing a verse from GloRilla on Latto's track. And when I tell you she did not hold back, yeah, she really did not hold back at all. Now let's talk about what started all of this. GloRilla dropped a verse that had some strong words in it, basically calling out certain behaviors and lifestyles. The tone was very bold, very direct, and honestly not unusual for rap, but the way it came across clearly didn't sit right with her sister, and instead of keeping it private, BroRilla took it straight to social media and started addressing not just GloRilla, but also Latto and anybody connected to the track. She basically came out swinging, accusing Latto of personal issues, questioning her relationship, and making claims about her private life. And you already know, when things like that hit the internet, people are going to start picking sides immediately. But she didn't stop there. She also brought up Drake, saying he had no business supporting the song, especially if there's already tension behind the scenes. From her perspective, him liking or engaging with the track was enough to get him dragged into the situation. Then she turned her attention to Soulja Boy, basically criticizing everything from his music to his style. At that point, it wasn't even just about the song anymore. It became a full-on rant about multiple people in the industry. And of course, she also mentioned Cardi B, comparing her success to both GloRilla and Latto. She suggested that the collaboration was an attempt to reach the same level of attention and numbers that Cardi B usually gets on her own. Now here's where things get interesting. A lot of people online started asking, why is this happening publicly? Because at the end of the day, this is her sister. Most people would expect something like this to be handled privately, not turned into a full social media moment. But at the same time, others are saying that music is competitive, and when personal feelings mix with lyrics, things can get messy very fast. Some fans are defending GloRilla, saying she was just doing her job as an artist expressing herself, being bold and delivering a strong verse. Others are siding with BroRilla, saying that certain lines crossed boundary and made things too personal. And then there's a third group of people who are just here for the drama, watching everything unfold like it's a reality show. Now let's be real for a second. This situation shows how quickly things can escalate in the music industry. One verse turns into a reaction, the reaction turns into a public call-out, and suddenly multiple artists are involved. And the internet is going to keep it going. People started analyzing every line, every comment, every like, trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong, and what's going to happen next. But as of now, none of the major artists involved, GloRilla, Latto, Drake, or Soulja Boy, have fully responded to everything that was said. So it's kind of just sitting there, building more attention as people keep talking about it. Now I want to know what you think. Was BroRilla justified for speaking out like that, or do you think she should have handled it differently? All right, y'all, let's move on to the next topic because this one is a completely different vibe, but still very interesting. So Cardi B recently hopped on a live audio space and opened up about how she's been feeling lately, and honestly, it caught a lot of people off guard. She admitted that she's been feeling unmotivated and a bit lazy recently, even after completing a major tour. And when fans heard that, they were quick to respond. A lot of people were like, "Lazy, you just finished performing for weeks straight." And they weren't wrong. Touring is exhausting. It takes a lot out of you physically and mentally. So from the outside looking in, it didn't really make sense for her to call herself lazy. But from her perspective, it wasn't about what she had done. It was about how she was feeling in the moment. She explained that after being constantly on the move, being back home started to feel really comfortable. Sleeping in, spending time with her kids, relaxing it became something she didn't want to step away from. And honestly, that's relatable. After a long period of being busy, sometimes your body just wants to slow down. It's not always about being lazy. It can just be about recovery. She also talked about dealing with physical issues during and after the tour. She mentioned shoulder problems, neck pain, breathing difficulties, and just overall fatigue. So when you really look at it, her body was probably telling her to take a break. But at the same time, she made it clear that she doesn't want to stay in that state for too long. She said she's planning to get back into her routine, getting dressed up, going out more, and most importantly, getting back into the studio. And that's something fans were really happy to hear because even though she's been resting, she also mentioned that she's been writing ideas, listening to beats, and thinking about new music. So creatively, she hasn't stopped. She just hasn't taken that final step of recording yet. And sometimes that's the hardest part, getting started again. She also shared a bit about her daily life at home, talking about how much she enjoys spending time with her kids and just having a normal routine for a while. No pressure, no performances, no travel, just being at home. But now she's reaching that point where she feels ready to get back to work. She even hinted at wanting to release new music soon and possibly shoot a music video, which means we could be getting something new from her in the near future. And if that happens, you already know it's going to get attention. Because whether people love her or criticize her, Cardi B knows how to stay in the conversation. So overall, her message was simple. She took some time to rest, she enjoyed it, but now she's ready to get back into her grind. And honestly, that balance is important because burnout is real, especially in the entertainment industry. Now, I want to hear from you again. Do you think she needed that break? Or do you think artists should stay consistent no matter what? All right, y'all, that's everything for today's update. We had drama, we had reactions, and we had a little bit of honesty from one of the biggest names in the game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.